Chicago Blackhawks are in town. And boy, oh boy, are we going to shit all over them.
Oh, my goodness.
Last in their division, last in the Central. Now, maybe we can cut them a break. I do believe it's the toughest division in all of hockey.
It doesn't matter, bro.
Exactly.
They
So,
suck.
you know what? Just fuck them.
They suck.
76 points.
Yes.
76 points. They look like they should belong in the Atlantic.
That is third last in the West, alongside Arizona and Vancouver, who are two big heavyweights out west, and better than the Habs, Sens, and Sabres in the East, which, no surprise, they all sucked last year as well. But yeah, not great. Not a great year for the two-time Stanley Cup champion in the last. How many times they win the Cup? I feel like they won the Cup every year since.
I think it's 3 times since. Yeah, 3 times.
3 times.
Oh, fuck, bro.
And bro, this is the first year in the last 4 where they finished with less than 100 points.
Ooh.
I think that must be one of the biggest swings, because they had 50 wins, 109 points the year before.
Wow.
Oh my goodness, I just can't believe it. I can't believe how bad they were.
Before we move on to their players, if you take a look at their division, so you got Nashville, Winnipeg, Minnie, Colorado, St. Louis, Dallas.
Yes.
Do you think they move out of the last spot in their division in 2019?
No. And I think there's like a 0% chance. And that is not because I don't think they've improved. I just think that their division as a whole is just too strong. And, man, I mean, last year they finished 14, 15, 16 points. They were 16 points below Dallas in their division.
Yeah.
That's insane. They were the only team in the division that had a negative goal differential.
And it's not by like 1 or 2.
No, they were minus 27 and Dallas was plus 10. Like it's insane, especially with the guys on that roster that the 2 big contracts to Kane and Taves, like you'd expect those two alone to be fucking keeping them in the positive differential. I have a question for you. Based on who we're talking about here, the Chicago Blackhawks. Chicago. Okay, obviously it was obvious they struggled in their goals for and against. But if you had to take a guess without peeking, as to out of the 31 teams where they finished on the power play in terms of power play percentage, where would you slate them out of 31?
I wouldn't put them in the top 20. I'm going to say 23rd.
28th. 28th, dude. And they have a stacked, what used to be a stacked number 1 power play. That, even with Schmaltz getting more ice time, becoming a little bigger part of that team. Kane on the back. Kane, Keith, Taves, Saad, and Schmaltz that's what they're aimed to be this year. But like, if that was their power play last year, I can't even fathom how they managed to be that bad on the power play. It doesn't make any sense to me.
And I didn't see them make any big splashes or even average splashes in the offseason to change things up. They still have an injured goalie.
Yeah.
He's a good goalie. I personally never thought. Bro. Yes, he could last an entire 82 season. Not that he's going to play all 82 games, but to give him 60 games, you got to be healthy, without any concussions.
Well, that's why they went out and they signed Cam Ward as their backup.
Oh, that's true.
Backup goaltending.
That's true.
He hasn't been the same Cam Ward that he's definitely not playoff level Cam Ward or the one that we've seen.
Stanley Cup
exactly.
Cam Ward.
But I will say, just by looking at what happened in the offseason, man, they got rid of your boy Anthony Duclair, who wasn't even on Columbus last year. So I don't know how that's anyway.
So we were both. That was just a mess. Fuck it.
They got rid of Cody Franzen, Jeff Glass, Marian Hossa obviously had to retire. Thomas Yurko left the team. Roosevelt Sharp. Sharp is a big loss for the squad. I mean, he was a veteran presence, but I don't think he was going to be the one to take him over the top. In terms of additions, nothing to really write home about. They got Marcus Kruger back. He was there before, right? Chris Kunitz. That's a good depth guy, especially with the experience that he brings, the Stanley Cup rings that he's had.
All right, buddy. I got a question for you.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I wonder what the question is.
Would you ever trade Panera Bread Panarin to Columbus for Brandon Saad?
For Brandon Saad.
Brandon Saad.
No.
He had 35 points last year, dude.
Listen.
Saad did.
Absolutely not. But again, I think it was a cap issue, dude. I honestly do. I think that Chicago had too many big names for big contracts. And they just saw Panarin as a quick fix to those problems. I mean, I don't know what's would you happen to know Saad's contract right now?
I am looking it up right now, bro. Cap hit $6 million.
Oh, Jesus Christ. For how many years?
It was Panarin.
Bro, just do Panarin Hockey
Panarin
TV.
Bread.
What is your problem? How long does it take you to do research?
It was 6 years. 6 years at 6
Oh, then I don't know what the hell they're doing.
So
he signed through 2021. And if I look up Panarin, isn't he a free agent next year?
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure they're paying him
his $6 million.
$6 million as well. So we're gonna crawl on over to our make it or break it segment. Who is your guy? Or two guys? We gotta get two guys.
Jesus, you got excited.
One guy, one good, one bad, or one bad, one good.
One good, one bad, yeah. Well, I mean, I'm gonna follow our buddy Timbo there, and I'm gonna hop on the DeBrincat train. I think he's gonna show this year that he's the real deal. He was not a flash in the pan player. He's gonna shoulder a lot of the load that Taves and Kane are getting too old to shoulder, in my opinion. I think he's gonna break out. And have an impressive campaign here. And then, man, players that are going to slip, I got more than one. Duncan Keith. Are you still here?
I am still here.
Duncan Keith, Brent Seabrook, and maybe even Taser.
Goes even lower?
I think that those three guys are done, bro.
God.
And this is like... I'm a pretty harsh critic when it comes to NHL players. I'm not always the most optimistic guy, but those three guys have had a steady decline in my book. I don't know about, pen on paper, but in my personal take on these guys, that they're heading in the wrong direction and that this year is going to be even worse.
Well, I do agree with you there on all fronts. My make it or break it on the bad side guy is actually going to be both goalies. I'm going to have Crawford, who I think is going to be even worse this year, even when he comes back. Mm-hmm. Just the way it goes for most players when they're injured through the offseason and they start to come back, it doesn't go well for them. They're not caught up stamina-wise. Just thinking the actual speed of the game, it's not there. And then on the flip side, my make it or break it good is Cam Ward. He's going to have to play on top of his fucking head for this team to even have a shot at the playoffs, because say Crawford comes back 20 games in, 30 games in, Crawford's going to have to go at least 500 for them to have even the slightest breeze of hope.
What do you think of Cam Ward's injury history and his age being a factor? A lot of games under the belt.
Obviously, it's easy to say take the easy road and go, hey, he's older, he's going to be worse than what he was a year ago. I think he's actually going to have a little bit more confidence this year. Maybe, coming over from Carolina, he's going to be their go-to man to start because Crawford is not ready.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that little breather of not having a backup breathing down his neck for the first, say, even 5 games, let him get settled, let him get into his role, let him understand that he's there for a reason. He's not there just because, Carolina traded him away because they didn't want him anymore. He's there for a reason. Chicago believes in him. I think he'll have a better year. Now, injury-wise, they have to pray that he doesn't get injured. It's how it's going to have to be. And kind of falls a lot on their D-core, their top 6, their top 7 guys. They got to come together, and they have to play much better in front of him in terms of even just moving the puck up the ice. They have such speedy forwards, but, when they're pinned in their own zone, it's tough to even make that first pass. So, for me, make it or break it. Bad. Crawford, make it or break it. Good. Cam Ward.
Man, I'm looking at so I pulled up the all-time wins leaders for active goaltenders.
Okay.
Cam Ward is definitely on the older side of the goalies right now. We got Luongo, who I think is probably the oldest who's still playing. Lundqvist is right behind him. And then we have like the Ryan Miller, Craig Anderson, and then maybe like a Mike Smith. And then it falls to Cam Ward in terms of age. And
so
Fleury.
7th or 8th there?
Yeah. So he's definitely on the older side of things. And then if I'm looking at look, I have a list right here of all the active goalies down. I got 50 active goalies here, okay? Out of the 50 goalies, oh my God, Cam Ward has the second worst goals against average.
Oof.
With James Reimer, who played for Toronto during the absolute shit years, and he's tied with Steve Mason.
Wow.
Who's had like 200 less games than him. So over a span of almost, nearing the 700 game mark, he might get that this year if he plays over 30 games. Not great, bro. And his save percentage is .909.
That's low.
Pretty low, yeah. And to be honest, the only thing that keeps him in my good books is that he's one of the few on this list that actually has a goal. him
that's
and Mike Smith.
That's pretty impressive.
Him and Mike Smith are the only 2 active goalies with the goal. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like I'm not. I don't know. I mean, he could have like this big year, and then next year fall off the face of the earth. But I don't mean to disagree, man. I don't want to be that guy, but I don't know. I don't have a great feeling about it.
They're just gonna be shit.
I mean, maybe, yeah.
So, question for you, without looking at the stats, do you know how many shots Schmaltz put on net last year?
Oof. I mean, I would say he maybe like I don't know, 300?
I might blow your socks off here. This guy had an astounding almost 18% shooting percentage. He scored 21 goals off 118 shots.
What?
In the entire campaign.
What?
118 shots. Hold on. I want to see this. 118 shots, I think, is the lowest on their team.
Bro, that's a shot and a half a game.
You're telling me playing on number 1 power play and going between first and second line minutes, you're only getting 118 shots in 82 games? That right there, I'm taking everything I said about make it or break it. I'm taking it all back. If Nick Schmaltz can reach 200 to 250 shots a year, he's going to carry this team on his back. Forget Kane.
Yeah.
Like, bro, 18%.
I was putting him up like as the team shot leader, man. I thought, hey, 300, 3-4 shots a game. Man, that is
terrible.
Rough.
Terrible. Bro, shoot the fucking puck.
Absolutely, especially based on the fact that he was playing like the entire season.
Yeah. Yeah, did he play all 82?
78.
78. So there you go. You're missing 4 games, so he's missing 2 shots.
That's rough. That's rough.
Okay then.
Okay, well, I mean, yeah.
On to the sponsors.
Sure.
This episode is brought to you by our subscribe buttons. Fucking hit those bad boys, okay?